you're going to want to stick around for this whole podcast. We're going through a couple situations where people's family interfered. And I know this is a big one. So stick around for all of these stories and responses and share yours below as we jump into the Til Death podcast right now. I just wanted everyone to know how beautiful you are. See, you don't take me serious.
Because you say it so patronizing.
No, that was sincere.
No, I just want everyone to know how beautiful you are.
I'll never say it again in my life.
We'll let them be the judge, okay?
That you're beautiful?
No.
If there's a guy up in there, we're fighting.
No. All right. Welcome back.
And I only fight one way.
All right. Welcome back.
No clothes.
To this Til Death podcast. All right, guys, we have some more
just watched that.
interesting stories for you. Not just interesting, but I know for a lot of people can be very relatable. So we're going to jump into this.
Right in the deep end. Go ahead.
Some blind reactions here for some stories.
And how to handle these things biblically. This is important. And we want to know what you think, too.
Again, please make sure you comment. Let us know. We're only going to give you things from a biblical standpoint because that's what we believe. So anything outside of that, personally, isn't true.
Opinions are like butt cracks.
Everyone has one.
Everybody got one. And most of them are stinky.
That's gross. Okay.
I don't know.
I don't want to.
All right, jump in. Start getting me talking about real stuff, please.
So, mark in the comments if you see him going like this.
I'll switch it up.
He likes to zone out a lot, especially when I'm talking. You just kind of like...
Look, it's 2 p.m. I didn't have lunch. I'm starving.
Okay, ready?
I could die.
All right, this woman says she has struggled with her in-laws who could not let go of their son. They frequently interfere in their lives, especially after they had their first baby, making decisions for them and undermining her role as a mother. Her husband found it difficult to set boundaries as he didn't want to upset his parents. This led to constant arguments, and she felt very disrespected and sidelined. What should she do?
Well, it's so easy. My guy, you got to realize the Bible says that when man and a woman get married, they leave their family and start their own.
You're joined.
Yeah, you have to start your own family. It's not about making mama happy anymore.
Right.
Mom needs to realize that she's not the main priority, and she might have great thoughts and opinions, but your number one thing is now your new family, which is your wife and your baby, and how you want your life to go. And how those things are supposed to be set up. It's out of order. I see a lot of guys do this, though.
Oh,
they're so out of order with it. It's like, well, my mom's can be... Let her be mad. Teach her to grow up and stop being an emotional child and catering to her.
Right.
That the catering thing is crazy because every time you cater to one person, you're letting someone else down. And it's like, I think we said this in the last episode, or maybe not. This is a really crazy thought. They said that relationships are normally set to the level of the most immature person or the most unhealthy person.
That's terrifying.
Don't do it. Refuse it. Make them grow up. And if they can't respect boundaries and rules, that's their own fault. Because what now has to suffer? Your marriage, which now your kids have to suffer. You have to suffer. Your wife has to suffer because you didn't have the cojones to set some boundaries.
No, it's true. And just think, let's go to extreme measures. Like, so what, you guys, you choose not to do this. You end up getting a divorce just to remarry, just to potentially set yourself up for the same issues because you were unwilling to set those boundaries, stick to those boundaries, and actually be the man and lead your family. So instead of getting to those extreme measures, look, it's your family should be and is your first priority as the leader. Lead your home. Be supportive of your wife. There's 2 things a wife needs, and they need love and protection. And if she doesn't feel protected, like she can trust you, that you're going to defend her, or that you're going against her in regards to not drawing those lines with your family, it's going to cause a lot of distrust. It's going to cause resentment. She's going to start to resent you, which eventually can lead to contempt in her heart. Yeah. And man, that's a dangerous line to play
Very
with.
Dangerous.
When in reality, I understand it can be hard. I understand, we love our parents, especially if you're close with your family, and it's always been that way. But in order to thrive in your new life, in your marriage, as the Bible tells us, you are joined together and you now become one. Yeah. You are one with your wife. You are one with your husband. That's right. Your mom and dad cannot interfere. They cannot come in and try to dictate what you do and don't do in any portion of your life. If you guys are in a healthy spot and you want to ask for advice, that's great. But unsolicited and demanding and trying to push their way in to try to dictate what you do or don't do is out of line. It's out of line.
It is out of line, but honestly, I wouldn't even blame them. That still falls on the husband.
Yeah.
Because it's his responsibility.
Absolutely.
Or on the other side, or it's her responsibility to tell her mom, you got to chill. There's a boundary here, and you're not invited.
Well, what it shows me, because normally, I'm sure it's, true in some cases where the dad is very but I see most of the time with these situations, it's the mother, which unfortunately reflects what actually is going on in their marriage where there's off balance. Because if her husband was actually leading correctly, he would also be able to step in and say, hey, they have their own family now. We're going to step back and we're going to let them trust that he can do this. So it just shows where there's, some things that are out of line, but ultimately it is on the husband. You need to step up and make it right and actually, be the leader of your home and supportive of your wife.
Look, if you got the cojones to get married and have a baby, have really some cojones to lay a boundary about what people are and are not allowed to say into your marriage.
Right. Yeah. So I do believe that it can be fixed.
The PG version.
You just have to make some decisions, make moves. Okay, we have another one. Okay, yeah, this one's pretty similar. Another girl said her family, so this is her side now, has always been deeply involved, but their presence became overwhelming. The family's presence, they would drop in unannounced, giving unsolicited advice, criticizing how her husband managed their finances.
No, this is different.
He felt like an outsider in his own marriage, leading to tension and distance between the couple.
This is not the same. This is different.
I mean, there's definitely similarities.
Yeah, but the big point to me is dude, you don't let people criticize like that.
Right.
If there's a major red flag and they're bringing it to you, sure. Mm-hmm. But to sit there and nitpick and criticize your spouse and you're just yeah, you're right. That's crazy.
Right. That's
and you don't defend them. You're out of line, dude. Mm-hmm. And maybe they are completely wrong. Well, that's fine. What you should do is defend them to the parents or whoever else, and then go confront them yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
But dude, have their back. Mm-hmm. Have their six. Take care of them. You're getting slandered in your own house. That's crazy, the disrespect.
Yeah, and that's just what it is at the end of the day. It's very disrespectful.
From everybody.
From anybody. And if you want security in your marriage, you have to know that you are each other's team. That's who you're in love with. That's who you're living this life with. That's your partner. That's your teammate. We gotta really step in and not allow slander of any kind from anyone. Yeah. Let alone our own family.
Yeah. We know that's wrong on every level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anytime, I'm just thinking a sports reference, anytime there's a quarterback and they're there was a bad game, it was the Lions' fault. People are dude, what is that? Mm-hmm. What kind of leadership is that?
Yeah.
You don't do that. You cover up for your team. Even in a meaningless sport.
Yeah.
They know to cover up for their team.
You do. And, you cannot, again, the quickest way for either the husband or the wife to become really feeling like they don't have trust is to not defend them. Even if they're wrong, like you go to bat for them. Mm-hmm. They are your other half. They are a part of you. You are one. So if they're speaking against your spouse, they're speaking against you.
Boom,
and
roasted.
You cannot stand for that. That is like unacceptable. So how would you address that? You just tell them, listen, this isn't, I appreciate your concern if that's what it is, but I will handle this. I'm not going to allow you to badmouth them. I'm not going to allow you to be demeaning and talk down about them.
Yeah, that's good.
This is my family now, and I understand that you care, but we're going to get it taken care of. And I'm not going to allow you to disrespect my spouse in that way.
If they keep doing it, lay some harder boundaries.
Yeah. Well, then you're not going to come around. We're not going to, if this is what it's going to come to every time, then, we're not going to come over. And people think that's harsh, but it's not. You have to protect what's yours. And, if this is something that you agreed to, you made a commitment in, well, then you best believe defending it and not allowing anything to just, don't allow there to be a door open for a wedge.
Yeah, I just keep seeing more and more. People are they don't do hard things. They do whatever they can to pacify everything.
I know a lot of people don't like confrontation.
Yeah, grow up.
Yeah.
If you want good, healthy, pure things that are going to last for a long time, grow up and learn to go through healthy confrontation.
Yes.
If not, it's going to be an absolute train wreck the rest of your life. And if you can't do hard things, then you probably shouldn't be married.
It's true.
And if you are married and you can't do hard things, take a big gulp and do what you need to do.
Yeah.
It's going to be all right. Mm-hmm. And if the other person can't handle it because they're too immature, that's a them problem, not a you problem.
Right.
Deal with it.
So,
like a grown man.
You need to deal with it. Set boundaries again. I know people don't like that. Or they think, well, all this boundary talk, but it's important. If you want to thrive and have a healthy marriage, then you wouldn't just let anyone walk up in your house.
Nothing is healthy without boundaries.
Right. You wouldn't. I mean, it's just like a river in a swamp. Without boundaries, it's nasty. It smells
it's like
stagnant.
Our kids, dude.
It's no good.
Set no boundaries in those kids and they're going to eat all the sugar. One day, it's all going to be gone.
All of it.
Not one day in the future, like the first day it's there.
In the first hour, they see it.
It's just boundaries. Everything that's healthy is boundaries.
It's important.
And boundaries are hard to set. But Jocko Willink says this. He says, discipline equals freedom. Well, doing hard things is a discipline.
It's true.
And if you want freedom, you want health, you want forward progress, stop being soft and do what it requires. Okay.
All right. We're going to move on we'll do two more. Because this next one, let's see. It's a wife. She says, actually, hold on. Definitely. No. So there's this married couple, and she says that her husband's best friend is constantly intervened in their relationship. Whenever the two get into a disagreement, her husband confides in his friend, who offers biased advice and often favors just his perspective.
Of course.
This has created distrust between the two, and she felt her husband wasn't prioritizing their relationship.
Again, boundaries.
So this is a little bit different, but there are so many people, whether it's not the parents, but they have a best friend. And a lot of the times I find that this is a best friend who's single.
Yeah, or divorced 3 times.
Or been divorced multiple times. Or their relationship life or status is a complete train wreck.
Yeah, it's a joke.
And for whatever reason, they think they're the ones who can give the great advice. Or you think you should go to them for advice when they haven't even done it right. You're the one married and they're not.
I've been married for 3 weeks. It's like, help me with my marriage.
It's like, come on, we got to think about this. But again, when you have an issue biblically, you should go to your spouse directly.
Actually, you should be meeting in the middle. you should be going to them, and they should be coming to you at the same time.
Matthew 18. That's for married people. That's for friends. That's for frenemies. That's for people who work together. That's for everyone. Go to them and address the issue. If you've offended someone, you go to them. If you feel you're offended by someone, you go to them. So if there is an issue in your marriage, you have arguments, whatever, well, you need to take a minute.
Yeah.
Calm yourself, get in the right state of mind, and then you both come together and you communicate what the issues are. And then, or first and foremost, if you have a hard time doing that, you don't go to your parents, you don't go to Facebook, you don't go to a friend, you go and you Lord, pray. Please. You talk to the Lord. Talk to Jesus about any and all issues in your life first and foremost.
Yep. You'll actually find multiple things. One, even if you're the person receiving a story about like what somebody did to you, it's going to be biased from the person telling it. Absolutely. And then they're only telling you because they know you're going to be biased towards them. So you're like 2 levels of bias now past the truth. And that's anyone telling the story, right? No one rarely is going to make themselves look like they're actually the bad person in the story.
Right.
So you're 2 levels of bias, and now you're going to take an opinion from some goofball and then try to bring it into the marriage. Like, it's just silliness. Like, be better than that. And then I would say, like, in terms of who you share things with, it's very important. If you share it with a close friend or a family member, you might forgive them, but they probably won't.
Right.
They'll be like, you know what they did? It's like, yeah, I forgave them. They're like, I don't know how you did that. And they still hold like a level of offense for you. You don't share everything with people.
Right. And that's important.
And especially some of the big things. You don't share with people like that. Share it with a third party that doesn't care. Share it with your pastor.
Yeah.
They care, but share it with your pastor. Share it with someone who's not going to hold a biased negative against the other person, but they can actually help you.
Oh, that's good. But again, talk to each other.
Stop
and most
being
importantly,
soft.
Talk to the Lord. Don't allow any advice or opinions come from somebody who doesn't have it figured out. Like, honestly, can we just start to really pay attention when we go ask for any advice from somebody?
I hear people
or want to share stuff.
Some of the dumbest advice.
Stop getting advice from people whose lives are a mess, or don't have the fruit to back up what they say. Like, come on, it's easy.
Crazy advice I hear all the time.
Honestly, it's crazy. Okay, last one. Okay, so this couple says they've been struggling to balance their children's needs and their marriage. Their children's demanding schedule left them little to no time, leading to an emotional disconnection. As their kids became the center of their lives, their marriage began to crumble under the pressure.
This is like a whole one.
And they both feel neglected.
We should save this. This is like a whole one.
I mean,
this is great. We've already talked about it a little bit, but there's a whole one about this. So we can either save it or we can just drive by, quick hit.
I mean, I think we should do a drive-by quick hit because
all right, drive by.
I'm pretty sure we have an episode already where we have
protecting your marriage from your children.
Yes, go watch it.
It will pop up at the end of this.
Yep. But honestly, I know it's especially for moms. I hear you.
I'm a mother before I'm a wife.
And that's not true.
You're about to be a single mother.
That's actually,
you keep it up.
Biblically, that is not
Trey just
true.
looked at me like that was the craziest thing I ever said in this podcast.
Because we see in the Word, once again, you raise up your children and then they leave you to go be connected and united with their spouse.
Yep.
So they are raised to leave. Your spouse is there to stay.
Bernie Mac with a quote.
You need to understand, man, I understand it is challenging. We love our kids. We want the best things for them. And especially when little kids, they are very needy. They have high demands, but your marriage has to be a number one priority in your life. It has to be.
Yep.
You're not going to
time aside.
You have to make time. You have to make time.
Okay.
Well, we have schedules and we run around and we have to drop them off. And
on the schedule thing, this is crazy to me. You can tell your kid, no, you don't need to play 3 sports every single year.
Honestly, and because really,
you can tell, like, you know what? no, you can focus on one sport, two sports, and then you can train in the off seasons, but you're not going to be out at practice till 8 p.m. every single night.
Yeah, you're not.
It just is what it is.
You're not a bad parent.
I don't know why people feel obligated. My kid has to be in sports every single time, and then they're in dance, and then they're in band, and they do this so unhealthy for the kid. I help with a local football program, and it's crazy. I think about it. These kids are on the bus at like 6:30 in the morning. They eat their lunch at like 11 a.m. Then they have practice at 3 until 5:30. They get home at around 6. Then they have dinner, and then they have homework still.
Yeah.
In 8 subjects.
That's ridiculous.
And then I got another kid, a couple of them, they also play hockey. So Tuesday and Thursday, they do all of that. And they go right from football practice to hocky practice.
Yeah, so really,
like,
I would say,
dang, them kids are walking zombies.
If you really care about your children, you're going to prioritize what needs to be prioritized. You're going to look out for their well-being and benefit too. Just being busy with stuff isn't always healthy. So it's okay to tell them no. It's okay to show them. In fact, you should be showing them a healthy marriage.
Yep.
You should be showing them that you and your spouse are affectionate with each other and have fun together and prioritize each other, because then in fact, you're setting them up for greater success for their marriage, to know, okay, this is healthy. So when they leave your house, you're not ready to get divorced. You're not like, well, who are you? I don't know you. It is so important that you are still building into each other and setting time aside and prioritizing your marriage.
Absolutely.
You better have a date night. Have a date night. Talk. Yep. Say no to the kids. But they should never become a wedge between the two of you.
Never. Go watch that whole podcast. It's a much deeper answer. Absolutely. Well, guys, I hope, I want to hear what you thought about these stories too. So give your opinion. What do you think they should do? And then if you have a story, you can send it to us. We'd love to hear it. We'll keep your name anonymous if you want, but we'd love to help with you. Love to spur that on and help bring clarity to the situation you don't know how to deal with biblically. Yep. And we're grateful you're here. Stick around, watch another video if you got some time. These are short, and we want to help make sure your marriage and your family is healthy,
thriving,
and it's building on your faith in Jesus.